American President Ronald Reagan said, "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest thing. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest thing." Such is our leader, our mentor, our visionary director, Professor Alok Pandey. Professor Pandey is the director and member of Governing Council of Institute of Management Studies, Ghaziabad. In addition to his position at IMS Ghaziabad, he is on the board of India's largest e-governance company and is the chairman of Index Committee of MCX Mumbai. Professor Pandey is also the member of Education Committee of CII and has taught at the Premier Business School in career spanning over 25 years. I would like to request our Director, Sir, Professor Alok Pandey, to welcome our guests and participants. Sir, please.
Thank you, Smita ji, for the wonderful beginning of the conference. I request all the participants of the conference that throughout the day, please, when a particular senior speaker is on the microphone, keep your video off and keep your microphone in mute mode. These are some of the etiquettes that our students, young students, as well as other participants have to learn. The world is, of course, not going to be online forever, and we are going to have a hybrid model soon, and you will be with us in the classrooms, and all of us will be meeting each other personally. But yes, in a hybrid model, we need to understand how it works. But now, as I begin my address, Honorable Chief Guest for today's conference, Professor K. Aggarwal, Chairman, National Board of Accreditation, former Vice Chancellor, Guru Jambheshwar University, Hisar, as well as Guru Gobind Singh Intrust University, Delhi. One of the leading figures who has many, who has been one of the foremost figures in terms of bringing about a revolution in education in India. He is one of those first professors in information technology whose contribution has been recognized by all, not just the government, but by people like me who have been teaching in this teaching domain. And we have seen that Sir's presence has given a lot of boost, given a huge boost to education in IT sector. And of course, has given a massive jump to India's GDP over a period of last 2 decades, especially since Sir has taken over responsibilities as educational leader. Prior to that, Sir has been guiding a large number of students and writing and contributing for many, many years while being a professor. I respect Sir and I thank him for being with us here. And I hope that his blessings will remain with us in future to come. Along with them, our distinguished keynote speakers, Mr. Rahul Kumar Gupta, Senior Director Technology, Publicis, Mr. Naveen Dachuri, co-founder and CTO, Yulu, which is again a wonderful company. Now we see Yulu bikes going around. And this is a massive change from a large size electric vehicle to a very small size electric vehicle. Probably Yulu is going to change the face of urban commuting forever. So I thank him once again, Mr. Dachuri, for being here. Dr. Sachin Malhotra, who is the chair of the conference, Dr. Tapan Nayak, who is supporting the conference as an administrator. It is an honor for me to speak on this forum. As a finance professor, I believe that information technology and finance, information technology and management, I believe that they go hand in hand. There is no education, no management education today, which is without the input of information technology. And all this basically means that what we are trying to do is we are simply trying to find solutions for a better world. Now, if you look at the world, the way it has gone, we have moved ahead from a simple, in last 200 years, we have moved from something called Industry 1.0 to something called Industry 4.0 today. This is going to have wide ramifications on every aspect of the economy. If you look at it, the way the world has changed from something called basic computing, where we were using something called online booking systems in our railway booking in 1986, when first computers were brought into India in a big way, to now to a point where you can buy a flat by using augmented reality or mixed reality, where you can see, you can get education online and virtual education. You can do banking transaction easily online, and you have 10 to power 9 orders being punched into National Stock Exchange per second, 10 to power 9 orders per second. And the orders are not just cleared, the orders are not just matched, but also cleared by the exchanges within a second. So we have come a big way, but I sincerely believe that there is no education today without information technology education. Keeping this in mind, what we have done in this institute, we have now ventured into big data analytics, and we have married earlier Master of Computer Applications program with the Big Data Analytics program, which under the leadership of Professor Sachin Malhotra as IT Area Chair and Dean MCA, and Associate Dean Dr. Nipen Dwivedi, who is the Chairman of Big Data Analytics program, they shall oversee that this marriage is consummated with ease. And finally, we get students who are one of the best and brightest and contribute to the growth of the economy. And probably we have IBM with us in this direction. We have several new fronts opened for India in last several years. The latest one is our fight with China. As China fought, 59 apps were stopped and were put on hold by Government of India. Notices have been issued, and now a big issue of data security and cyber security has come on our heads. We cannot trust China, which has made big strides in the area of both hardware and software areas in last 2 decades. Today, if you make comparisons, China has an edge over India in hardware, but it also is slowly creating an edge in the software area. Indian engineers, though they were the first to get into IT coding, but the effectiveness and correctness with which Chinese engineers code, though less in numbers, it is surprising, and we need to learn from them. Not just that, China has now invested in almost every aspect of technology in India. There is no startup in India which is not without Chinese investment, and Chinese have also bought stakes in Silicon Valley in major companies. So India has to now fight battles. Apart from development of hardware and software, India has to fight several battles, and I hope that during the course of the day today, people will ponder over and the speakers will discuss these ideas as to how India needs to develop, so that whatever gains we accrued over the first decade in 90s, probably on information technology over the world, those gains are not overtaken by China. Along with this, there are some areas, for example, development of edge computing, quantum computing, app development. As the Government of India has opened its idea, we have now a large number of Indian apps being developed in which could replace China. But what I have come to know in last 2-3 days through newspaper reports, that you need a minimum $50 to $100 million to make a proper app with proper security and proper support to the customer for even a small thing as a short video making. So, although there are apps which will replace TikTok, but whether they'll survive the efficiency of those apps is difficult to say. But we need to change, and we need to learn the lessons. Along with this, we must concentrate on the hardware availability. Like, for example, if Huawei is stopped from supplying servers, remember the Chinese hardware is 30 to 40% cheaper. And with Indian telecommunication sector under deep stress due to the license fee issue, which is currently ongoing, it's a Supreme Court issue. How would we manage? Now, we have now moved over from Zoom to Cisco because Zoom was charging too heavily. It was taking advantage of its monopoly, and it's asking us to pay an educational institute. We have now moved over to Cisco, and this is our first mega conference on Cisco today. But we will see how effective we are in terms of moving towards newer and better apps. Why? Because Chinese definitely had some idea. They were giving us things cheap, and they were giving us the high value for their money. But of course, you can't trust China. They make you addict of something and then try to take advantage of you by raising prices over a period of time. So we need to look at how 5G would be rolled out, how smartphone availability, without 70% of the markets of smartphones in India and electronic products is controlled by Chinese manufacturers. How would we have these smartphones with laptops, a huge market of made in China products, broadband products and internet connectivity products, and of course server related products. So we need to look at this idea also. We are organizing this conference at a very appropriate time. During COVID-19 and the lockdown, we found that the only saving grace for this country was the push on information technology. It was the availability of internet and information technology facilities which allowed education to continue, which allowed work to continue, which allowed entertainment to continue, and which allowed healthcare practices to be, improved. And of course, COVID-19 spread was often tackled, they say, by using apps like Arogya Setu. So we hope that information technology which helped us during lockdown, its importance will be realized by the younger people, by those who are listening to us more appropriately now. I think we are having uh, and this would ensure that our young people who are attending this conference, they will learn and they will now become part of the solution to the nation's problem. Remember, we are 1.4 billion people. Our seniors have guided us well. We are trying to guide our juniors better, but we hope that the young generation would learn from such conferences and would continue to make this world a better place to live by implementation of solutions from information technology and data sciences. With this, I wish that this conference would be a huge success. I think there's a echo. Let's correct it, Sachinji.
Yes, sir.
And hope that this conference would be a huge success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With such a thoughtful speech and with such a great beginning, we are filled with energy and enthusiasm. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to excellence. With these words, I would like to introduce our chief guest, Professor K. Aggarwal. Professor Aggarwal is the chairman of National Board of Accreditation, NBA, since January 2019. Sir obtained his Bachelor of Engineering degree from Punjab University and Master's degree from NIT Kurukshetra. Later, he did his PhD from NIT Kurukshetra. After a distinguished service of 27 years at NIT Kurukshetra, Professor Aggarwal served as a Pro-Vice Chancellor, Guru Jambeshwar University, Hisar, for a period of 3 years, and then as Founder Vice Chancellor of Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi, for a period of 10 years. He has been the President of Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, President, Computer Society of India, President of South East Asia Regional Computer Confederation. Professor Aggarwal has published approximately 400 papers in the reputed international and national journals. He has been widely consulted by the industry, most notable being his contribution towards the reliability analysis for PSLV. Professor Aggarwal was conferred the honorary fellowship by the Broadcast Society of India. He was decorated with Lifetime Achievement Award by IETE and also by the Computer Society of India. Professor Aggarwal has been associated with NBA in various capacities since its inception and was chairman EEAC before taking over as the chairman NBA in January 2019. I would humbly like to request Sir to please deliver his inaugural address as a chief guest to the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Professor Alok Pandey, Director of IMS, the distinguished guest this morning, Mr. Rahul Gupta and Mr. Naveen Dachuri, the guests from industry who will be delivering their talks afterwards and giving you the industry perspective, which is so necessary for the students of the day. I'm sorry I'll not be able to listen to them because I'll have to leave and go to CII summit for their valedictory function, which they are holding for 11 days digital summit, and today is their valedictory. Professor Tapan Nayak, Dean Academics, Sachin Malhotra, Dean MCA and IT, Smita Aggarwal, and other distinguished faculty of this great institution, delegates, participants, eminent speakers which will follow during the day, valedictory address, chief guest, Professor Sanjeev Deshmukh, a great friend of mine, and all the students attending this conference. I'm so happy to be here this morning with you. As a matter of fact, when the conference was being organized in face-to-face mode, Sachin had requested me at that time to be a part of the conference, but somehow the dates were not working out. And as it happened, the conference itself had to be postponed because of the lockdown. And now when he requested me, I had really no option but to accept, as he knows me for more than a decade now. And I'm aware of his sincerity to the purpose, and therefore I'm here this morning with you. Now, friends, I know IMS for quite some time. I have visited IMS maybe more than a decade ago, and I'm aware of its activities. It is one of the very good institutions in northern India, at least about 3 decades old institution, and accredited by almost all the reputed bodies. So my compliments to you for doing well so far, and hope you will do better, because expectations from an education institution are now increasing, and they will increase very sharply. Reason being very simple, which I'll talk about. Education itself will go through such a great transitional change, which it has already started because of COVID. As a matter of fact, it started even before COVID. I'll talk about it, but COVID has accelerated it, and this acceleration is going to continue. And therefore, if acceleration of change has to continue, we have to be prepared for it. And I'm happy that your alumni are well placed. They should be a great source of strength to you, great resource persons, not by coming only to conferences, but being having more regular association with your institution, with your alma mater, and support it academically. That's very necessary now, and I hope it will come through. Dr. Pandey in his address said that they are organizing a conference in information technology, because information technology and finance, information technology and management has to go together, because information technology is required everywhere. I remember having been telling all the academic world, some listen, some don't listen, that information technology is not a subject, it's a tool. And as long as you keep on using it as a tool, it is a great service to the society. But as long as we consider it as an end-all subject, we run into problems. And it is very clear in the country now, the colleges which started BTech IT at such a fast rate are now running a mad race to close IT. Because IT as a subject alone, without domain knowledge, really doesn't serve much of a purpose. You have to use IT as a tool. And computers, Paul, some of you are of the subject, as a service subject, the other society cross-sections. We always worked in a manner that the life of the common man should improve, life of the common citizen should become better. What happens to put in very hard work doesn't matter. Most of you, or almost all of you, know that the computer very different mathematics, but computer engineers always design day one so that the common person is going to use it. Doesn't have to learn. And therefore, our emphasis always was that some researchers work hard, some designers work very intensively, but give a tool, give a machine, give an interface, so that its use becomes more and more, not only more and more, it becomes more and more cost effective. Computer engineers were always conscious of the fact that unless we are able to reach the masses by reducing the costs, things will not penetrate to a level which they should. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the unique case studies in the world where the performance improved every year and cost decreased every year. This has never happened in any other industry at such a fast rate. Somebody worked out if aircraft industry, which itself has evolved quite a bit, if they would have kept the pace of development the same as the computer industry, we should have flown 50,000 people in a plane from Delhi to New York at the cost of $1 per person and reaching from Delhi to New York in 15 to 20 minutes. Now that should have been the performance of air travel had it kept pace with computer industry. I'm not saying that will happen or that should happen because it has own issues, but I'm only trying to give you an idea of the speed of evolution, which took the shape of a revolution in computer industry. We never believed that it will happen so fast. I hope you will understand that IBM invented the first PC.
Fujitsu के नाम से है, please close, please put yourself, mute yourself. Yeah.
When IBM invented the first PC to put to use, I'm not sure how many of you will be very surprised when I make a statement. It's head of IBM, which is on record to say, let us try to produce PCs. There may be a market of 5 PCs in the world. So that was the expectation of head of IBM, that if they're able to sell 5 PCs in the whole world, that would be the enough. But look at now, you have more than 5 PCs in every home. You have more than 5 PCs in every classroom. You have a couple of PCs in your pocket in the form of a phone, in the form of Fitbit, or in the form of something. You have several computers in your home. Washing machine has a computer, some automatic doorbell has a computer, so on and so forth. So the rate of change has been terrifically fast, and it has become even faster in the last 5-7 decades. In 1950, our rate of doubling of knowledge was something like 50 years. In 1980, it became about 20 years. In 2010, it came to about less than 10 years. And we expect in 2020, rate of doubling of knowledge would have become few months. Now, if the knowledge doubles every few months, how do you keep pace with it? How do the teaching institutions really live up to that change? That's the challenge of the day. And our young students will have to pick up that challenge, and our faculties will have to always realize that they are preparing the students for a challenge faster than this, because as it goes along, it will be still faster. So one thing which I thought I'll tell is that speed of change has to be appreciated, has to be brought to the education institutions, and has to be taken to the mindset of the students, because they will have to do it. And therefore, if we prepare them now, it will be better. Holding a conference in information technology and data science. Now, it's a very bold step to think of emerging trends in information technology, because very unfortunately, nobody really knows what will be emerging in information technology, because things are changing so fast, and things are emerging just from nowhere to change the shape of the world. And in that scenario, emerging trends, to talk about emerging trends is necessary, but please keep in mind that whatever you're talking as emerging trends today would become actual happenings on the ground much sooner than you expect. Probably you might be thinking of, you're talking of some emerging trend which will happen after a decade, and maybe you find it happen next year. So therefore, talk about emerging trends, but please remember that the scale of speed which we will talk today in this conference will certainly be reduced, and you will be seeing things happening faster than we expected. Keep that in mind. Data science has become a subject by itself, very important subject. As a matter of fact, today, you can't even imagine life without data science. Some subjects today, artificial intelligence has become very important subject because of data science. I remember when we were young teachers of computer science, we had started teaching artificial intelligence. At that time, I'm talking about maybe 40 years ago or 45 years ago. But then artificial intelligence could not be put to much use because data science was not developed. And in the absence of development of data science, artificial intelligence to be put to full use was almost impossible. And therefore, for about next 30 years, nobody talked about data science. Nobody talked about artificial intelligence. It became a dormant subject. And now, when data science has evolved, artificial intelligence has again emerged as a very strong tool to work on data science. Because data, collection of data will be meaningless unless we can use it effectively. And to use it effectively, artificial intelligence has come up as a very strong tool. And I will again emphasize to the participants here and more so to the students here, please try to treat artificial intelligence also as a tool, not as a subject. Artificial intelligence also has to be a tool for the welfare of the society. And even now, even today, artificial intelligence is being much more used by finance industry, by medical industry, rather than engineering industry. Well, engineering industry is also using it, but medical and finance is probably using it more, and now law has started using it much more. And therefore, again, try to emphasize artificial intelligence is a contribution from computer science people for the welfare of the society, for all cross sections of the society. And the reason on importance of artificial intelligence, I'll again remind, is because of the extensive data collection, data mining, data retrieval, data storage, cost of data handling, and so on and so forth. We today will talk about, I think we will talk about in the conference about data analytics, video analytics, and so on and so forth. And can you imagine today, you can fire a very tiny missile, which has all the video analytics in it, goes into a crowd, recognizes the face of the terrorist, matches the face, and shoots at him. It goes into a crowd and is able to target an individual in a crowd and shoot at him alone. So that's the kind of technology which has been enabled because of manipulation of data, because of working of data, and so on and so forth. I personally have always believed we should have called artificial intelligence as augmented intelligence, because I see there's nothing artificial in it. It's only augmenting our capabilities. It's only supporting and supplementing our intelligence. But somehow when the names get stuck, they get stuck and we live with it. Why I am trying to say is, when you learn data science, when you practice data science, make sure once again and always, how do you make use of it? How do you make use of it for the welfare of the society? I was extremely happy when all of our educational institutions shifted to online education because of COVID-19. They had to do that almost overnight. Many of them were not used to it. So under the circumstances, they have done a good job. I get feedback from teachers from all over the country, from students all over the country. I mean, our teachers have really done reasonably well. Imagine if they would not have done that. We have 33 plus crore students in this country out of their schools, colleges, and universities today. Now, if these 33 plus crore students would not have been made busy, what would have happened? Just imagine this. World has 1.6 billion students outside the education institutions, and online education has come to their help. This online education is really technology supported teaching. Teacher remain the teacher. Knowledge is still transferred from the teacher. This dummy machine does not have a knowledge of its own. But technology enabled service, and that is where I again emphasize. IT is a tool. IT is a slave. Please use it as per your commands as much as you can. Do not allow it to use you. If you allow that, that's the problem. Friends, even before COVID-19, and at least I used to talk about disruptive technologies quite a bit. And when I say disruptive technologies, I meant technologies like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, robotics, drones, virtual reality, augmented reality, so on and so forth. Now, these are the technologies which were changing the world, and they were changing it very fast. And we were grappling with adjusting to these disruptions. And these disruptions were making a good challenge for us. You just mentioned, when you mentioned one of your distinguished keynote speaker, electric cars. And from electric cars, we have now moved to autonomous cars. And autonomous car, I read an interview of Mercedes CEO. An interviewer asked, sir, who is your competitor? Is it Ford Motors? Is it General Motors? He said, forget about Ford Motors. Forget about General Motors. My competitors are Google, Amazon, Facebook, etc. Because next version of car will be a very sophisticated computer riding on the four tires. It will not be a car in the traditional sense at all. So that is the kind of disruption we were talking of. The present car has about 10,000 moving parts. The autonomous car will have only about 18 moving parts. So therefore, it will probably never fail, because you would have seen cars break down because of moving parts. If moving parts reduce from 10,000 to 18, the cars will never break down. And autonomous cars, when you will buy, they will give you lifetime warranty, because they are sure it will never break down. And they say, okay, if it breaks down, come here, replace your car, take a new car and go home. That will be the scenario. Why I am trying to tell you is, we were talking about these disruptions and accepting the challenge of these disruptions. And while we were still ready for it, COVID came. And COVID became the highest disruption in this lifetime of all of us. None of us have seen a disruption of this order, which has affected so many countries in the world, such a large population, so many systems. I told you about education system alone, 1.6 billion students affected, 1.6 billion students career affected, so on and so forth. So that's the kind of disruption which came. And that disruption is forcing us for much higher adaptation change rate. We will now have to learn to change even much faster than what we were perceiving and conceiving before COVID-19. And therefore, my dear participants, and particularly young participants, you have to train yourself to be thinking very fast, to be changing very fast, and to see how the nature has made you capable of that. If I ask you a question, how do you distinguish a car and not a car? How do you distinguish a bus and a truck? I mean, if you want to write on a piece of paper, how do you distinguish between a bus and a truck? It may be reasonably difficult to write. But a child of 2 can tell you it's a bus, it's a truck. So that is the intelligence which is with us. To convert that intelligence into artificial intelligence requires a lot of data. And then only it becomes intelligent. For an artificial system to say whether this is a bus or a truck may be quite an exercise. When IBM Watson was designed in USA as one of the very important tools for artificial intelligence applications, it found it's very easy to design a spaceship to be taken to moon. But it's relatively much more difficult to design a soft or robot which could fold clothes, which all our ladies and maids do in the home. They fold clothes like anything, as if no effort is being made. But IBM Watson found it extremely difficult to design a robot which could recognize the cloth and learn how to fold a particular cloth. So what I'm trying to say is there are elements of human intelligence which are different than computational intelligence or sequential intelligence or algorithmic intelligence. We have that blessing, and we will have to combine the two. We will have to keep our intelligence, we will have to keep our emotional working, we will have to keep our intelligent working, intuitive gut feel working in tech, and still use all the algorithmic intelligent machines, sequential machines, and combine the two to come to a better world to live in. Disruptions will always disrupt us. They will change the lifestyle. I was just trying to read what is disruption, and I came across beautiful 4 lines, which I'll read for you. It says, when TV came to my house, I forgot how to read books. When the car came to my doorstep, I forgot how to walk. When I got the mobile in my hand, I forgot how to write letters. When computer came to my house, I forgot spellings. When the AC came to my house, I stopped going under the tree for cool breeze. When I stayed in the city, I forgot the smell of mud. By dealing with banks and cars, I forgot the value of money. With the smell of perfume, I forgot the fragrance of fresh flowers. With the coming of fast food, I forgot to cook traditional cuisines. Always running around, I forgot how to stop. And lastly, when I got WhatsApp, I forgot how to talk. So these are all examples of disruption. But look at COVID as a disruption. It is such a high intensity disruption that it combines many of us, many of these things. We have all learned how to stop. We have all learned how to stay within the home. We have all learned how to work without going to workspace. So many disruptions have been combined, and we will have to learn to grapple with it. Finally, friends, I'll just talk 2 minutes about what we accept on the educational scenario. In the educational scenario, as Dr. Pandey also said, you are not going to live with online education forever. You will meet in the classes, you will have group discussions, you will have extracurricular activities and everything. But I see a situation where at least for maybe a year, you will have to go to dual mode of work. Because if your class has to have only 20 students instead of 60, you cannot have all the students in the class at the same time. And therefore, part of it will have to be on the virtual mode, part of it will have to be on the class face-to-face mode, and therefore it is high time we already start working in terms of priorities. What should be shifted to face-to-face mode at the earliest opportunity, and what can wait and go on. So our priority should be drawn right now. Whenever I have a chance to bring the students to the class, what will be my priorities? Which topics must be done face to face? And gradually, when you are able to shift, fine, because you will have to work on the dual mode, which I call as blended learning, for quite some time. In a way, it will be good also, because some things can be better done outside the classroom. Particularly for management education, I have been saying many times, if you learn to do more activities outside the classroom, it will probably make you better managers. And please experience that as much as you can. A research study definitely says our formal learning contributes to our professional success only to the extent of about 15 to 20%. Remaining 80 to 85% comes from experiential learning, which we learn by interaction, which we learn by peers, which we learn by observation, which we learn by traveling, which we learn by playing, so on and so forth. So let's try to have a balance of this. Second thing is, your educational curriculum will have to be very flexible. They will have to be designed from student to student, institution to institution, teacher to teacher, and we should be prepared for it. I foresee very near future that credit transfer between various institutions will be a necessity and will have to be accepted as a necessity. And lastly, interdisciplinary knowledge should be very, very important. Uh, we should not be, if I'm studying MBA finance, my effort should not be to teach all the courses of finance or as many courses of finance as possible. Our effort should be to give reasonable number of courses in finance, but quite a few courses on fringe areas, on areas other than hardcore finance also. Because to solve a problem, you invariably need several subjects put together. Single subjects can solve a problem has never happened in life. And COVID, again, I talk about, has taught us. If we would have considered COVID only as a health science problem and managed it as a medical problem, we would have failed it completely. We had to see it as a health problem. We had to see it as a transport problem. We had to see it as an economic problem. We had to see it as a social problem. We had to see it as a transport problem, as an immigration problem, as a rural-urban problem. Then only we can have some grip on it. And whatever aspect we miss, we have seen the mess created. So therefore, all problems in real life are multidisciplinary, are interdisciplinary. Our educational structure, by and large, are not becoming that multidisciplinary, that interdisciplinary, because every teacher has so much love of his subjects. I think we have to sacrifice that to some extent to make the thing more broad-based. And I hope this conference during the day, where you have so many experts, we talk about so many subjects, and maybe you take a lead as a lead institution in trying to give better shape to flexibility of education, to interdisciplinarity in education, to more broad-minded education, to more broad-based education, and to prepare the student for the future, which is approaching faster than what we think. An article which I read says, when you are talking about the future, by the time you finish your sentence, future is already here. So that's the speed at which we have to move. With these words, I thank the Institute for inviting me to be a part of this great conference and have the company of so many young people, and wish your conference all the very best. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts on education transformation, challenge of speed of change, disruptive technology, and blended learning. Now, I would like to request our chief guest, Professor K. Aggarwal, to kindly permit us to release the souvenir of the conference. Sir,
Sure.
please, kindly permit us.
Sure. Very good. Great. All the very best.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request our director, sir, Professor Alok Pandey, to permit us to present e-memento to Professor K. Aggarwal as a token of our gratitude. Sir, please.
Sir, we would have loved to shake hands with you, and offer you this memento, but social distancing and online virtual mode. But we'll send the memento by post to you. Please present the memento.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gesture. And I'll certainly receive it and shake hands with you also.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melina.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Professor Malhotra to propose vote of thanks for our chief guest. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Smith. It's an honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks to a living legend, a thorough gentleman, a very humble personality, Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Professor K. Aggarwal ji, Chairman, National Board of Accreditation. On behalf of the Institute and the organizing committee, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest for accepting our invitation and sparing his precious time for all of us, despite his very busy schedule. We're deeply grateful to you, sir, for your illustrious presence and for an enlightening address.
Thank you, sir.
And we at IMS assure you, sir, that we'll all continuously evolve, continuously learn, and deliver quality value-based education to all our students and all. We wish to receive your kind support and guidance in all our future endeavors as well. Thank you very much, sir, for your esteemed presence and address once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge, and knowledge makes you great. With these words, I would like to introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Rahul Gupta. Sir is a digital strategist, leader, technocrat, and author. He has over 22 years of experience in multi-million dollar product development and project implementation across multiple domains. Mr. Gupta has authored various technical papers in international magazines and is reviewer of various technical books. He began his career when COBOL and FoxPro were in vogue and has evolved over the years, learning newer technologies. Currently, he is working with cloud, microservice, IoT, cognitive technologies, and helping his clients in resolving their business problems. He has worked with clients across the globe, which include Americas, Europe, South Asia, Middle East, and Asia Pacific, including Japan. Sir is currently Senior Director Technology at Publicis Sapient. I would like to request Sir to please address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, organizing committee, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this conference. And I would like to thank Tapan ji, Sachin ji, all of us who is in contact with me and try to get me on this conference. It's a privilege to be on this conference, and it's really I'm really hard. It's a great learning for me right now, because while listening to Mr. Professor K Aggarwal and especially Tapanji on this. So my thoughts is, guys, for everyone, I mean, especially for the young professionals and students, any technology, any trend are meaningless unless and until all the people, students, industries, entrepreneurs, professors, researchers, everyone comes together. Unless and until they comes together, am I right? Nothing can be implemented rightly, because all are important part of this journey. So today, because I belongs to an business company which provides business solutions to multiple clients across the world, I'll talk about how emerging technologies are evolving and what are their business impacts, and how industry, I especially the IT industry, sees how they're valuable they are for the company in terms of the business values. I'll take the questions after this if we have time. But this is a brief introduction. Madam has already given to me. I'm just to give you an idea. I'm an IMS alumni. I passed out around 23 years back, 1997 batch from the IMS Ghaziabad only, and I've been working with a lot of big companies and currently work at the Publicis Sapient, it's a technology company. Before I start, am I right? So emerging technology, I was going to say it's a timeless two words. When we started the career, am I right? At that time also there was something called emerging technology. At that time there was platform independent code is talking about emerging technologies, web as emerging technologies, and now there's something different, am I right? When we were learning at that point of time, and I'm talking about early 90s, 4GL is as thinking as emerging technologies. So emerging technology is a timeless words, and if I try to give you a definition of this, is basically a technology which has the power to change the status quo. Basically, the way we work, it has the power to change that, and it also has the power to change, make a long-lasting impact on the humankind. And the time frame we normally see is 5 to 10 years, but this time frame is now going to reduce to 2 to 5 years, right? That's the basic technology definition we talk about when we say emerging technology as an IT industry. Normally people say, so if you see nowadays, the emerging technology, we talk about cloud, we talk about data science, we talked about IoT, immersive experience, which comprises of AR, VR, mixed reality, robotics, AI, ML, all big terms, am I right? But there are a lot more. So as I said, emerging technology is not just 6. Every time you have tons of emerging technologies, and it based on where at the level of adoption they are. Few more emerging technologies that I can see is these quantum computing, robotic process automations, serverless, edge computing, biometrics, right? Those kind of things are also considered as emerging technologies. And to make it successful, somewhere these all are interrelated. Somehow they have been using, they are dependent on each of these to be come up with a complete business solutions for the IT companies. So what I'll talk about is I'll talk about top 5 technologies that we are doing to see and how they're impacting. But out of these 6 or 7 I mentioned here, there is a one technology which is an evergreen emerging technology, which I called as cyber security. This is always emerging technology, not just now, for last 30 years, 40 years. This is an everlasting emerging. And the reason behind is, as and when new technology comes in, new architecture comes in, there's always a pressure how to create those systems security foolproof, correct? So this is also evolving. So they are always as seen as emerging. Let's talk about the cloud, am I right? So we know, everyone knows about cloud, everyone knows about AWS, Google, but you know what is the business we are expecting from the cloud? We are expecting about $331 billion of business by 2022. It's a huge amount lying on the table for IT services. Now, what we need professionals, we need thinkers, we need domain people who can actually utilize the cloud services. And if you see the cloud offerings, normally they have, it's also 3 types of offerings: infrastructure as a service, platform as a services, software as a services. And there are multiple types of cloud offerings: public, private, hybrid, and community based. But out of these, still industry sees a cloud infrastructure as a service as the major contributor, where we need a maximum number of people, trained people, skilled engineers. I don't want just industry is not looking for the people who know the syntaxes, but the people who can think of it. How can we utilize those areas, right? Very interesting thing I come across is that top 5 growing cloud PaaS services. Okay, if you see the top 5 list items, 4 are emerging itself. It's an interesting concept. Emerging technology becoming one of the emerging technologies becoming a platform for other emerging 5 technologies. Interesting. That means if we really need to gear up If we need to get a good business solution, we need all types of people, especially in emerging technology, trained thinkers, researchers to work on these all 5 areas. Next is the blockchain. Everyone talks about blockchain. Blockchain is like a linked list. We have a more secured and all those things. But how exactly the blockchain is changing, am I right? Blockchain as a technology will create more than $176 billion of worth of business. It's amazing, am I right? By 2025, $3.1 trillion of business by 2030. Imagine the kind of work people and IT industry is expecting in this area. There are a lot of areas where you can implement. You can implement in real estate, you can implement in manufacturing, you can implement in your IT industries, right? In normal like DevOps operations and all those. You can implement in government sector. Lot of implementation wherever you think there is a need to. And then one of the major industries which works on blockchain is BFSI. But out of this, if you see that currently there are three industries which are leading in the blockchain, they are looking for solutions in blockchain is TMT, which is telecom, technology and media, engineering and resources, and manufacturing. These are the 3 industries which are heavily investing right now, along with the finance industry in the blockchain. So as Professor Sir said, Aggarwal Sir said, you have to use the technology as a tool. And if you see, I'm talking about industries also. The industry is nothing but a domain. So unless and until we know the domain, we cannot use the technology appropriately. And that is very important for us. Third, I want to talk about the IoT, right? So if you see, so let's talk about cloud, blockchain, and IoT. Do we think that all these emerging technologies are new? I don't think so. Artificial intelligence is there since 60s. Connected devices are there since late 80s. Cloud is there still from still 90 between late 90s. So they are not new. They are very old in the system, but adoption was not there. So earlier when we used to, I remember one of our projects I was implementing in late in 90s is when we are creating a system software where printer has to be connected to the central server, and whenever something goes bad, that printer gives a notification to the central server. It is nothing but the connected device, correct? But now the adoption is very high because of the availability of the internet, availability of the 4G and 5G servers, availability of auto scalable infrastructure in the terms of cloud. This is now realistic. Now it comes to our home. This technology has comes to our bedside. Am I right? Now you are sitting on a bed and just say switch off Alexa, switch off light, and play this, play that, and all the devices has been connected. Am I right? I was working on one of the projects where we are putting a sensor on the vending machine. So whenever there's some kind of a either machine gets heat up, or there is a problem in the power circuit, or there is a emptiness in the particular kind of a sachet, it automatically sends an alert to the systems. So those kind of things. And imagine the kind of a business we are expecting as an IT industry, $9,960 million by the end of 2025. And these are not my data. These are data coming from the leading research firms like Gartner, Forrester, Realistic Reports, and all those areas. Now in this, so we talk about the millions of business, but how much devices will we have connected? So by 2025, we are expecting 41.6 billion connected devices. Imagine the kind of a network we were creating over the entire world. All are connected devices. And most of the industries which are right now focusing on top 5 or 6 industries is the airport industry, electric vehicle, agriculture field, bedside telemetry. When I said bedside telemetry is all about switches, lights, audio, videos, in-store conceptualizations, and some others. So imagine that you need to be part of these domains. People are looking for solutions for these areas, and the business is lying on the table. Next one is the AI ML. So everyone talks about AI ML. It's a fancy term now. Everyone talks about AI ML. Business terms, $3.9 trillion. So I'm giving you a lot of data in terms of money because you have sessions which talks about technology in depth and all. But my point is, unless until you know what is at the stake, it help us to define our curriculums. It help us to define where should we focus on. It help us to define our careers. So it's very important to understand what is needed from us. $3.9 trillion of business is lying on the table till 2022. And this is called, so I don't know whether you people knows or not, but this is called Gartner Hypercycle. So in the hypercycle, I'll help you and read it out. There are 5 phases. Now on the complete curve, you see 4 colors of dots. So all the colors, all the technologies in the AI, which has blue dots, says they'll reach their plateau in next 2 to 5 years. So for example, if this curve has come out in 2019, so they were expecting the edge AI, which is blue in colors, will be at the peak in next 2 to 5 years, which is in the black, which is called NLP. Some examples: NLP, AI pass, knowledge graphics, all are AI technologies, AI implementations, correct? They're going to reach at the top by 5 to 10 years. Which are in the red dots, they were expecting they'll reach their peak in, let's say, 10 years. So sir, talk about the autonomous vehicles, am I right? People are talking about autonomous vehicles, but the peak of the autonomous vehicle, when everyone start using it, becomes a day-to-day life. Industry is expecting that it will take more than around 10 years to reach that plateau. So you have time to work on it. There are still, and there is something called, which is a white dot, which talks about which they are less than. So they are very mature. For example, RPA process. So there are already tools available. Businesses are adopting those tools, which are heavily used nowadays as a part of the automation. They're going to reach their peak. So basically, most of the people will be skilled. Most of the people will be using it. Most of the business are aware of it. Most of their crucial business manual works will be automated within the next 2 years. That means at the end of the 2021, we're expecting that we'll hit the plateau. And again, if you see, the manufacturing sector will have the highest share in this AI/ML. So if you see all the things like cloud, all those, the manufacturing is using everywhere, am I right? Manufacturing is leading those, and North America as the highest market share. So most of the implementation, usage, adoption will be in the North America in next 3 to 4 years. Again, another fancy word. You have seen a lot of people. I go to the malls. People are using your glasses and all, and they're seeing something. Right? There's nothing but a virtual reality. You heard about a snapshot. It's nothing but an augmented reality. You heard about taking a picture of your drawing room and then putting the colors, or trying to see how this kind of a sofa set looks like. This is all nothing but a augmented reality and mix of virtual reality. Right? That's again different market altogether. Again, the expected market is $571 billion. Industry sees a lot of potential in this, and we are working on this to get the right kind of projects. So when industry prepare themselves, right? So there's one thing they do. Why I am reading this data, right? Why my companies are reading this? Why the other research companies are doing this data? Because you need. Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yes, Rahul ji. Yes, Rahul.
Yes, sir, we are able to
Hello?
hear.
Hello?
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Yes, we are getting you. Please go
Yes,
ahead.
sir, audible. Rahul ji, audible.
Hello?
Rahul ji, your voice is loud and clear. I think he is an issue. Yeah, Rahul ji, the voice is.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you, sir. I think he is not able to hear us. Rahul ji, we are able to hear you. You are audible.
Sir, you're audible, sir.
Sir, you are audible. Rahul sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. I'll drop the message.
Are you audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Am I audible, guys?
Audible.
Sir, your picture is not coming, sir.
Sir, audible, sir. Rahul sir. So you are audible.
सचिन जी, he is not able to hear us. आप कॉल कर दीजिए एक बार.
I called him. I called him. Yes.
Okay, okay.
I think he'll. Yes. Yeah.
Where I left, if you see, the market forecast is $571 billion by 2025, right? So lots of things, even that, if you see the snapshot application, it's nothing but an AR here. You have the lenses, you can see to it. You go to the mall, the people are using glasses, right? You put the virtual reality or the reality, virtual images of the reality. Those kind of a things AR here. There are a lot of applications coming in the world market. If you see by 2025, the North America will have the biggest market share. That means most of the adoption will be in the North America part. But the good part is, next 3 years, we are expecting that APAC part of industries, am I right? If you see the graph on the left, it talks about which industry will be doing at what level in 2025. So gaming will be the leading one, then followed by healthcare and medicine. Comes to the cyber security, which I said as an evergreen trend. So by 2025, there are so many hacks, so many security breaches. World is expecting to see something around $133 billion.
हमारे पास 6 तो है, एक बार काउंट करवा लो, फिर से करवा लो काउंट.
Participants, please mute yourself.
There's a huge amount, but you know what we are expecting? We are going to lose $6 trillion of business money because of the cyber hacks by 2021. In the next 1 year, our yearly loss will be $6 trillion. It's a huge amount, right? And still, right? Still, phishing, social engineering, and malware are the biggest security threats. So even after so many years, still the phishing and malware are the biggest security threats. And you know why the reason why the cybersecurity is so big a threat? Because with the emerging technologies and the complex solution we are building, there are a lot of areas which become vulnerable to us. There are multiple technology stack people use. It's a fashion nowadays. People say, okay, I'll use Python also, I use cloud also, whatever technology I want to use. The moment you have multiple technologies, you have multiple join points. You have multiple touch points, you have a multiple entry point. You have a much more integrated application, you have much more operational complexity. So all these things make your system more complex, more vulnerable. And that is why it's a need that we need a more secure. Imagine you have a house which has one gate, correct? It's easy to secure that. But imagine if you have a house which has 16 flats and each flat has its own entry. As a 16 flats is in one building and 16 entries, it's difficult to manage. It's a cost required. Think your application from that perspective. And that is why you see the cyber security, we have to spend so much of it. Just to give you an idea, how much number of people we need in this area. 3.1 million cyber security professionals needed by 2022. In another 3 years, 3.1 million, that means 31 lakh people across the world is needed, which are trained and understand the domains. Now, this is not only talks about the technology security, even the industry domain. For example, health industry has their own security laws. Finance has their own, right? Government has their own. You have to understand those also. Then only you'll be able to make your applications secured. That's we call it as a cyber security. It's the biggest, one of the biggest area and an ever-growing area and ever-lasting area. Now let's think about the typical applications that we have. I just give a technology. I just want to tell you how the applications architecture gets complex. The first architecture, this is the typical e-commerce application we used to see 5 years, 6 years back, where we have a one box where everything is commerce integrated to the backend or internal systems, and then you have a desktop and mobile applications, which is talking to your application, and it is hosted within the office premises. Next comes is the headless architecture. So we introduce another point of interaction, where we say your desktop mobile application UX is different, and you have a service applications, service-based application, and it is either hosted on cloud or on home. Now what we are seeing in future is something good. This application architecture. See the same application doing everything same, but now you have so much of endpoint points. So now you have IoT applications. Now you have a chatbot. You have a voice, AR/VR entry points. Now you have a deep learning coming into the picture. You have a blockchain coming into the picture, moving completely to the cloud, having an API gateways and a mobile applications, moving to the microservices architecture and micro front-end architecture. The right side of the architecture is a futuristic architecture for you guys, but for industry people, I am sitting in industry, we are already implementing those. Imagine this kind of an architecture, you need so much. So all the emerging technologies are now, if you see as an application, how they work together, this is the typical architecture you can see. This is how exactly the application works. So far, so good. Now, let's come. Now, see, this is the basically emerging technology we talk about. Is there any impact because of the COVID? As Professor Sir, like Aggarwal has said, see COVID, don't see COVID as a problem. This gives us a opportunity. He's rightly said, right? COVID is a health problem, but that gives a lot of opportunity for the industry to change themselves, change the way we operate. See, just see the example, right? So the people who are in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? They normally don't do online shopping. They normally believe in going to the friend circle, relatives, go and talk to them personally and all. But the people from the Z generations or millennials, they rely on the online shopping. They do a social platform, go to social media and all. But because of the COVID, am I right? Relying on the more online and relying on the social distancing, becoming a consumer behavior across all the age group. Everyone sees this. Now, if you see the entire world and all the things are having the same consumer behavior, there might be a change we need to embrace fast as we can fast. So what we had seen as an industry is definitely post-COVID had an impact on the emerging technology. What? Now the industries will start working on prioritizing their spending on the emerging technologies like no-touch technologies, robotics, AI/ML, AR/VR. Now imagine the companies who were expecting to start their journey by 2022, they'll start their journey by the end of this year. So the entire adoption of emerging technology, which we listed today, right? Earlier we talk about 5 to 10 years, but as I said, this might reduce. So I'm now expecting it to be next 2 to 5 years, most of them will reach the plateau. So within next 2 to 5 years, a lot of work will come on emerging technologies, and this emerging technology will no more be the emerging technologies. Something new will come out, which will be an emerging technology. With this, I'll close my session. One thing I always believe, which makes me still be a technologist, is that I don't believe it's over for me. I always think it's a new beginning, and I still, because I'm heading the emerging technologies area in my company, I'm learning new things. A lot of new things I have to learn. All the new things that you guys are learning, and I'm learning. So consider all the emerging techniques. Be a learner, be a student throughout your life, and always think as a new beginning. I'm open for the question if you guys, somebody has a question. Otherwise, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you, Rahulji.
Thank you, sir, for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for sharing your rich experience on emerging technologies and the need of future where our students should focus on. I would like to request our director, sir, Professor Alok Pandey, to kindly permit us to present e-memento to Mr. Rahul Gupta as a token of gratitude. Sir, please.
Permitted. Please go ahead, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be a part of the conference.
Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrificing, and most of all, love of what you are doing. With these words, I am pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Naveen Dachuri. Sir is a co-founder and CTO at Yulu Bikes Private Limited. Yulu is creating paradigm shift in mobility industry by making the urban commute more efficient, eco-friendly, and technology-driven. Yulu is driven by three guiding principles of urban mobility: accessibility, availability, and affordability. And also during these unprecedented times, Yulu is providing the safest mode of transportation by frequently sanitizing the vehicles using WHO recommendation. Mr. Dachuri comes with more than 20 years of experience in various domains. He played leadership roles in architecting the analytics platform for US Federal Aviation Administration. Prior to that, he was the technical director for data analytics at Bias Corporation. He also co-founded Learnora, an online educational platform. He holds a bachelor degree from IIT Kanpur and a master's degree in computer graphics from Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea. I would like to invite Mr. Dachuri to please address the gathering. Sir, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you
Okay.
are
Is the
audible.
video, have we closed the video for the session?
No, sir. No, sir, we have not closed the video. I think there is some technical issue with the software.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I don't see the video option anymore.
Yes, yes. We are also not seeing that video option, sir, at the moment.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Let's continue. Thanks,
So,
Dr.
sir,
Smita.
as soon as we get that option, I'll communicate, sir.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Smita. And good morning, everyone. And hope you guys are staying safe. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor K Aggarwal, sir. Respected Director, IMS Professor Alok Pandey. Distinguished guest, Mr. Rahul Kumar Gupta. And Dr. Tapan, Dr. Gopal Krishna, and all the faculty members and the students and the wonderful talented audience. It is a real honor today for me to be with you all. And I am deeply grateful and thankful to our host, Dr. Dean of MCA. Our host, Dr. Sachin, Dean MCA, for giving an opportunity to speak at this conference. I will be very open and honest here, and actually I wanted to speak my heart here in this conference. A couple of weeks back, Dr. Sachin had dropped me an email asking me to be a keynote speaker for this particular conference. Usually I'm very prompt on responding to these emails, and if I'm unable to respond immediately towards the night, I try to catch up with all my emails. And I literally sat on this email for a couple of days. And then one day, after 2 or 3 days, my partner Rahul Gupta, who is also CEO for Yulu Bikes, he came to me and asked why you're not responding to this email. So what had happened is when I got this email, we all are going through this deadly virus situation, the COVID-19. Everyone knows about it. And I saw the topic of emerging technologies, especially in IT and data sciences field. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I know technology is growing very fast. It is creating a big impact. But are we doing what the technology society? And that is why it took me some time to think about and finally thought like maybe this is the best platform to speak about it and speak from my heart what we should be doing, what we should be thinking when it comes to technology. And before I start talking about the technology trends and other things, first of all, I would like to thank everyone who is helping in fighting this deadly virus, especially to the healthcare professionals. I know no one is there, but still I thought that is the most important thing. But this situation, as Professor K Aggarwal rightly mentioned, it has been the biggest disruption. For decades, we have been working on making technology advancements, thinking that it will create a big impact to the society. Yes, it has created a big impact to the society. It has helped us in improvising our lives. It has given us a lot of things that has made our daily routine simple. But at the same time, it has also created many harmful things, right? So I guess nature has its own way of teaching us that we should not let technology rule us. Rather than we should help technology, or we should use technology to help us with keeping humanity in mind. Again, I could be very philosophical here, but this situation has helped me in really thinking about all these things and see how we should nurture our future generations so that they use technology for the right reason and for the upliftment and for the welfare of the society, rather than just using it for a business or just using it to make money or mint money. Think about this situation. Like, look at the irony of the situation. And I received a note this morning. Sorry. Sorry.
Sir, please continue. I think there is some background noise.
Okay. Okay. But look at the irony of the situation. This morning only I received one of the WhatsApp messages from my close colleague, and he had just forwarded this message, and it was so true, right? We always have been thinking, oh, we have to do something so that our air is clean. We have to do something that we can spend more time with our family members. We have to do something so that we can do whatever we feel like doing, right? Whatever we are passionate about doing. But look at this situation. Outside the air is so clean, but we cannot move without masks, right? Our hands are so clean, but we cannot shake hands, right? We have time to spend time with family and friends, but we cannot get together, and blah, 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 so many other things, right? So this teaches us a lesson, right? So whatever we do, we have to also keep one thing in mind, that is it helping the society? Is it creating a meaningful impact in the society? Is it good for our well-being and things like that, right? Having said that, I will switch to the main topic of this conference about emerging technologies. So I'll start with a small story and of myself, right? So I graduated back in 2000 from IIT Kanpur, a very prestigious institute. You get to learn a lot of things. And then from there, IT industry was booming up, joined the industry, started working on a couple of web platforms. But when I was working on it, I did not feel that this is what I want to do, right? I was very good at coding. People were very happy at my organization. They gave me a double bonus within a year and things like that. Then one day I was thinking, looking at different places, what are the other options? Am I doing what I am supposed to do? Then I got to know from a friend of mine that there is an exchange program which is being conducted by Information Technology and Communication South Korea about a program that the government is running. So I applied for it. I got picked up. It was a very fascinating program. And just to give you a brief about that program, it was a program that was planned for 15 years. Okay, it was a program where they wanted to take technology to the next level, right? So I was working with a team of more than 500, 600 people. People were working on optical fibers, LED TV, HD TV, at the same time working on data crunching and things like that. The whole end goal was, like when an advertisement comes on a television, let's say an advertisement of a shirt, you should be able to put it on yourself, see how is it going to look like in different environments, which is nothing but augmented reality, what we are talking about now. You should be able to touch and feel the texture of the cloth or the shirt that you're wearing. And all this will only be possible when you can store a lot of data, process data at high speeds. You have tools built in to feel the texture. You have data, or you have speeds, network speeds that can relay this information in real time to the viewers. All these things were they were working on. It was very fascinating. And this project started in 1999 and was planned to get over by 2015 and 16. And during this time, you might have seen a lot of technologies and things getting or coming to market. And I know for sure, like a lot of the things were outcome of this particular project. But one thing that really fascinated me was the group of people that I was working with. Most of the folks were interdisciplinary. As Professor K Aggarwal rightly mentioned, the next generation, what we have to teach in colleges have a interdisciplinary knowledge, interdisciplinary skills. There everyone used to study multiple disciplines. Like you always major in one, but you have minors in multiple disciplines. The second thing was people knew what research papers were. Okay, although I studied in a premier institute, yes, in the final year for our final year project, we used to read a couple of research papers. There, what I noticed is right from day one, the way they teach the kids or the students is research driven. Everything is research driven rather than book oriented. So this was a game changer. I learned a lot of things. That is where my passion for data developed. I moved to US, worked with a lot of industries, all related to data. Most of them were data warehouse, building data warehouses, doing data analytics and things like that. And after 15 and 16 years, I was well established, working for a very good firm and organization, creating impact. That is when my colleague Amit reached out to me and asked, Naveen, let's do something for the society. Okay, let's do something that is going to really create an impact. Okay, and we started looking at different options. What could be one of the scenarios? And we saw that urban mobility, congestion in the cities turning from a clean and clean air to a dark air kind of scenarios. We wanted to solve this problem. That is when we started Yulu. And Yulu, right from day one, our focus is to create a sustainable mobility with keeping clean and green in mind. So we never opted for any high-speed IC-based engine vehicles. We always wanted to do things that is going to make our future generations' livelihood clean and green. So now, having said all these things, you all know technology is advancing at a fast pace. 2 decades back or 3 decades back, we were in the process of improvising systems performance, reducing the cost of storage, building systems that will make our lives easy. But now it is all about how do we make things more digital, smarter, connected, automated. And this is where our whole progress will be going forward. According to research, if I'm not wrong, it was done by a consultancy called IDC. They are expecting that the whole IT industry will reach to close to $5.2 trillion by end of this year. This was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, even if we see the downside, maybe it will be close to 4.5, but it won't be less than that. What that means is lot of industries, lot of companies are going to put lot of money in doing these innovations. And these innovations are the ones that are going to power the technology growth. What are the areas again? If you talk about, everyone spoke about AI, blockchain, cyber security, drones, IoT, and things like that, right? But it has been 2 years since we have been working with this product, different type of products in Yulu or at Yulu. And we have been trying to use most of these things, right? The first thing that is going to happen is everything will be digital, okay? And in India, we have been talking about, governments have been talking about digital, but with this COVID situation, we have already proved that we are almost close to 100% digital, right? Now, is there more scope? Yes, always, why not? There are more things that can be done on digital front. By making these digital things smarter, right? And how do you make these digital things smarter? By using tools that involve AI, tools that use IoT platform, tools that use blockchain, right? And or augmented reality. So now talking about blockchain, right? Blockchain is another kind of tool that gives you a transparency, a trust. So you will be seeing a lot of industries that are adapting blockchain. So far, mostly the financial institutions, but going forward, it is going to get into more areas like real estate. Think about the challenges that we have now. Like you want to go and buy a property, you're always thinking, okay, is it legal? Okay, I don't want to get into any kind of issues with this property. but government is implementing some blockchain philosophy or blockchain technology where they are going to use blockchain to onboard all the legal things that are associated with any real estate. The same thing is you are going to see in the healthcare segment.
रोती रहती है. I missed my class because of this. अच्छा ठीक ठीक है दीदी. Thank you दीदी बताने के लिए.
Please
Now,
mute yourself.
talking about data, right?
अबे यार पता नहीं क्यों रो रहे हैं भैया.
Please all mute yourself.
जैसे उनको कैसे सैलरी देंगे फिर?
Please mute.
उनका राइट है भाई मानना.
Please mute. Please mute. The speaker is getting disturbed. Everyone, please mute except the speaker.
Okay, now
नहीं
talking
यार
about
चल रही
data.
बट काम बहुत ज्यादा काम हो गया है.
Okay, now speaking about data, see, data was always there, okay, but the challenges were with storing the data and processing them, right? AI technology, ML technology, whatever you talk about was already there. These are still the same algorithms that were found or they were invented like long time back, but people were unable to adapt it. And the reason for that was storage and the processing power. The data that we used to get in century, now we are able to get the same volume of data in one day, right? What that means is we have reduced the storage cost, okay, and also the processing power. Since now we have both these things, we can actually apply the real technology and algorithms to bring out meaningful information from these large data sets and help businesses as well as normal human beings to improve their living, improve their business, bring professional operational efficiency into businesses and scaling their business. But with this large volume of data, as Rahul had rightly mentioned, it poses more challenges when it comes to cyber security. Like we at Yulu, we are still small, like it's not a big team. We don't have thousands of assets on road, but as we are growing, we are seeing people are trying to get into our systems. They are trying to hack our systems, right? So we spend a significant amount of time in ensuring that our data is secured and it is being rightly used and it is not getting available to the wrong audience or the wrong people. The next thing that is going to really pick up in market is the 3D technology. I really believe that the 3D printing is going to really pick it up. Okay, and the reason for that is I have myself seen in my business. Okay, we are into providing vehicles, putting vehicles on the road, but these are vehicles that we have to build it. These are the vehicles that we have to ensure that is built for a sharing purpose, right? And to do all these things, we have to do a lot of research. And when you're doing all this research, you want to do these prototypes. And 3D printing has been really handful to us when we have to do any kind of 3D prototyping. Okay. Earlier, what used to happen is you have to actually pour in a lot of dollars to build a mold to even test your modules, right? And building mold, on one side, it costs you a lot. On the other side, it also takes a lot of time. Now with the 3D printing technologies, we are very easily able to build the whole vehicle or the complete vehicle in 1 or 2 days. And we have done it just to see how it is going to meet our market needs when it comes to sharing mobility. Next biggest thing is about connected systems, connected platforms. And this will happen with IoT, with 5G or the higher speed networks. And we are also trying in our own industry where we use Bluetooth to interact with our customers. All our vehicles are powered by IoT device, which has a Bluetooth. our customers connect to our vehicles using Bluetooth. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a Bluetooth mesh network, which is going to tell us where our vehicles are and whether these vehicles are in a right condition or not. So all these things are going to happen again with technology advancements, with higher speed networks, and with cheaper data storage. I think that's all from my end, guys. I really am thankful to the Institute for giving me an opportunity. I'm open for questions. I know when I was talking with Dr. Sachin, he asked me to give like 5 or 10 minutes for Q&A session. So I'm open for any questions now.
Yeah, Smita ji.
I guess there are no questions. Thanks all. Thanks everyone. And try to be safe. Wear masks whenever you're going out. And try to do something that will bring a meaningful impact to the society.
Thank you, Naveen ji. Over to you, Smita ji.
Video is not coming, sir.
Yeah, we are looking into that, sir.
Okay,
Smita ji, can you hear us? Please continue.
Yeah,
sir,
Smita
thanks
ji.
for the lecture. So thanks, very useful lecture, sir.
Yeah, please. Thank
you. Dr. Smita, can you hear us?
I'll just check.
Sharing your thoughts on today's scenario and the need of the future. With the permission of our director, Sir Professor Alok Pandey, we now present e-memento to Mr. Naveen Dachuri as a token of our gratitude. Sir, please.
Thank you all.
Patience, persistence, and perseveration makes an unbeatable combination for success. With this, I would like to request Professor Tapan Kumar Nayak, Dean Academics, IMS Ghaziabad, to propose vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Smita. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tapan ji. Please go ahead. Yeah, please.
Guest, Professor K Aggarwal in absentia. Keynote speaker, Mr. Naveen Dachuri. Distinguished guest, Mr. Rahul Kumar Gupta. Director, IMS Ghaziabad, Professor Alok Pandey. Conference Chair, Dr. Sachin Malhotra. Conference conveners, Dr. Silesh Sharma and Dr. Nipen Dwivedi. Organizing committee members, members of faculty and staff, delegates, participants, and my dear students. A very good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of the whole IMS fraternity, it is my privilege and pride to propose the vote to the August Gathering one-day online international conference on emerging trends in information technology and data science, hosted by Institute of Management Studies, Ghaziabad. I feel honored to express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Professor K Aggarwal, for his kind acceptance to deliver the inaugural address, despite of his very busy schedule. We thank you, sir, for your very insightful and enriching address to all our participants. I am sure that August gathering will carry this pulse of wisdom with them. Sir, you talked about the rising expectations from the educational institutions. We at IMS Ghaziabad, under the leadership of our dynamic director, Professor Alok Pandey, and a committed pool of faculty and staff members, were working hard to fulfill the rising expectations of the society. I am extremely thankful to our keynote speaker, Mr. Naveen Dachuri, for his valuable presence and thoughtful keynote address on the theme Emerging Trends in Information Technology. You rightly said that the technology should not rule us. Rather, it should help us to achieve our targeted growth and better serve the society during this changing time.
I'm also highly delighted to thank the distinguished guest and our own alumni, Mr. Rahul Kumar Gupta, for his presence and highly informative and factual address on the inaugural ceremony of this conference today. You have specially stressed on the blockchain technology, which will create more than $176 billion worth of business value by 2025. Your focus on cloud and IoT were highly praiseworthy. Friends, it would be my privilege to extract the gist of the wisdom shared by all our guests today. 21st century has been defined by application of advancement in information technology. Information technology has served as a big change agent in different aspects of business and society. It has proven game changer in resolving economic and social issues. Advancement and application of information technology are ever changing. Some of the trends in information technology are cloud computing, mobile application, user interfaces, and analytics, etc. The ever-changing field of information technology has seen great advancement and changes in the last decade. And from the emerging trend, it is said that the influence of IT pattern of business is ever growing and is going to help the corporate and organizations to serve the society better. I request all of you to mute, please. I request the participants to mute, please. Indeed, we are highly fortunate to listen you all and embarked on wisdom. This conference would not have been possible without the guidance and mentorship of Professor Alok Pandey, Director IMS Ghaziabad, and all the executive and governing council members of the institute. I'm truly grateful to the conference chair, Professor Sachin Malhotra, conveners Dr. Silesh Sharma and Dr. Nipen Dwivedi, and dedicated effort to make this first ever online international conference of the institute. I'm also thankful to the distinguished panelists, conference session chairs, organizing committee members, faculty and staff coordinators of various committees, without whose generous contribution, this conference would not have turned out to be a grand success. Last but not the least, I sincerely thank all the participants for being a part of this online international conference. I hope you all have cherished the content, got new ideas, and above all, had a good time. At the end, I must wish you all to maintain social distancing and stay safe at this unprecedented pandemic. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Tapanji.
The inaugural session now come to a close. Over to you, sir, please.
We'll take a break of 15 minutes and we'll rejoin back. Okay, the meeting details will be shared with you very soon with all the participants and the experts, panel experts as well. Okay, so we'll take a break of 15 minutes and we'll join back by 12:45. Thank you all for attending. Thank you.
Right. Really useful, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.